On episode 11 of Chit Chat, we get inside the box and explore the world of board game inserts. We take a look at what some of the best publishers are doing to organize their components, and of course talk about all of the games we've been playing. Welcome back to Chit Chat. This is episode 11, and today we're going to not talk about board games at all. We're going to talk about board game inserts. Actually, we will probably talk about some board games too. But we're going to start by talking about inserts. And by that, we mean inserts, third-party inserts, inserts from the publishers themselves, and even maybe some do-it-yourself inserts, like when you put Plano boxes in some of the games.
Yeah.
And as always, we got Ryan, we got Gary, myself, David, and Jeremy here on the end. So let's start talking about inserts.
I think it's important that we also say this isn't a declaration or a call to riot against the publishers
No.
for the way they make inserts. This has nothing to do about our feelings about board games, about the games that we're playing. It's
No.
just about how games are packaged, because it's all about accessibility in the end, right? This isn't like digital media where you have a video game that you download, right? Or a movie that you just pop in.
You kind of get it one way, right?
Yeah, I mean, you get a board game and then it's all physical components. You have to set that thing up, which means that the better it's organized, the more often you're going to get it to the table. So this is all about organization at the end of the day.
Especially those games that have just tons of pieces.
Oh, yeah.
There is a lot of truth to that. I feel like the easier a game is to set it up, the more often I feel like playing it.
Well, not only that, but with some of these inserts, it's kind of like a moment of pride when you open that box and you pull out these really cool insert components that are just as cool, if not cooler than the game components. And people are like, oh, that's cool. And you're like, yeah, that's right. It is.
And it makes you want to go back and play those games again.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, then there's the other side where you're like, oh, this game's going to be great. It's got all these cool components. You open up and it's just all kind of thrown in there.
Yeah.
You know, and that's, for me, that's a little frustrating because, you know, this is an industry, you know, some of these games are in your 40s, 50s, 60s, $70, $80 ranges.
Yeah.
And I would expect a little effort at least to make, especially you got a lot of components to have something where you can easily organize all those pieces.
Let's start there. I mean, when you talk about any particular publisher, whether it be Fantasy Flight or CMON or any of these larger publishers, there's a wide gambit in the way that they package their
Absolutely.
games. Just CMON in general. When you look at like Ethnos, it comes with a molded insert where everything is going to pop in the right location. And then you look at games like Rising Sun, which just came out, which have all those type of games have miniatures come in these weird boxes.
So it's basically boxes and boxes.
Boxes within boxes. And once you look at all those components, they're hard to store back because you have to fit them in the right areas. If you decide not to go that route, then you're going to either third-party, accessories, or you're just putting them in bags and throwing them back in the box.
Right.
It's those games like Rising Sun, like Blood Rage for sure. Those are the prime opportunities for people like Broken Token and Meeple Realty to make an amazing insert, because I don't know that anyone likes the boxes and boxes. I mean, that's a lot to. You're putting it away in a box, then you're putting that box in a box and another box.
It's
and
hard
it's
to
a little
store.
crazy. Yeah,
It's hard to store, and it's hard to keep track of everything, because a lot of times you end up with boxes getting put in different places, especially a game like Blood Rage, where you might have 4 or 5 boxes. Rising Sun is the same way.
Yeah.
I think there's like 5 boxes of content, and it's like if you put the wrong piece in the wrong box.
Well, and plus, a lot of people like to consolidate. And when you've got those boxes and boxes games, you can't, right?
Right.
Like, it's just impossible. You're going to keep the expansions in the expansion boxes.
Right.
And most people, I think, right, don't want to do
Typically.
that.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I have the broken token insert for Blood Rage, and it was almost as much as the game itself, but it was one of the best purchases I've ever made, because everything is clearly labeled, everything fits in one box, I can pull things out as I need them, and everything that you store the pieces in, you just pop it out and it sits on the table, and you just pull your tokens out.
So
like
what kind of, you said you have the Blood Rage Broken Token one. Do you have any other inserts, like third party?
No, that's my only.
That's your only insert.
insert.
Gary, what about you?
I don't have any, actually.
Zero inserts.
Zero. And part of the reason is because sometimes it's a struggle for me to rationalize spending almost another whole game just to get an insert to put in the game. And if I'm not going to play the game a lot, to me, I'm just not going to put the money into it.
I totally get that.
But a game like Blood Rage, which I've played a ton of times, I would love to have it. I just never have gone out and got them to purchase.
And that's the way I think I would approach it too. Like, we have pretty big collections. You can't possibly get an insert for every collection, even if it were available. So I would look at the games that are like sort of my flagship games, if you will, and the ones that I want to treat well and really hold dear in my heart, and maybe get something like that for those games.
Yeah, I mean, you guys already know how I feel about inserts. I love inserts. Going back to when I was doing videos by myself, 7, 8 years ago, they were built around the components. It was called Drakkenstrike's Components Breakdown, and everything I did was organized in those Plano boxes.
Right.
I love organization, so anytime that a company makes an effort to at least ship the game organized is great. But when they do things like game trays, when you start looking at like Grim Forest,
oh yeah, the newest publisher inserts
Wasteland
are getting
Express,
insane.
yeah,
Right.
those kind of things are above and beyond, and I think that is a step in the right direction for a lot of those games. What it comes down to, though, is it's cost. It's how well do these publishers think that game is going to sell? Is it going to hit mass market? And if they think that's the case, then they'll invest a little bit more in those type of inserts. Otherwise, you're going to get the cardboard inserts with a little rivet down the side.
Right.
Yeah, for the most case, those inserts, like you said, it comes down to cost, and whether or not they're going to get mileage out of that is I guess, remains to be seen. But I can tell you, for instance, with Grim Forest, the few times I've played that with people who hadn't seen it yet, you open it up, and the experience of those people seeing the inserts, and this one in particular, you're pulling the inserts out, you're just popping the lids off, and the trays just sit right out on their table. That's where the components stay. You take them right out of that tray. So it makes it such a nice experience. Even non-gamers have experienced that and said, wow, that's really cool. That's a nice game. So, if that means another sale or another sale or two, then that's some mileage that I think the publishers will get.
Another game that did that amazingly last year was Mechs vs. Minions.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
had
it's like
to.
you showed it to me. You had to go. You got to look at this. You open it up. I mean, it's like an engineering masterpiece.
It's an experience when you
it
open that
really
box.
is an experience,
Yeah.
and it looks nice, and it's all organized, and that is just one of the best examples of you really want to do a game right. That you got a winner, and you want to make some sales. Get this insert right. It makes people feel like they've really invested in something nice.
It's an interesting point you made there, because it reminds me of, like, you see a lot of these unboxings on YouTube of all sorts of things. And it started with tech stuff, like computers and whatnot.
Right.
And you see these unboxings and these really high-end devices. The boxes themselves are really cool. You've got magnetic flaps, which is a big win for me. Anything, you put a magnetic flap in a box, it's sold for me. You open that up, and then there's sleeves, and there's like little sheets of paper that you remove.
Yep.
That experience just heightens the quality, aspect of what you're doing, whatever it is, whether it's a game or whatnot. And that's Mechs vs. Minions was totally that.
Yeah, it totally upped everybody's game. Obviously, Grim Forest is taking a page out of that book, and which is good. I think, again, we're back to your investment that you're making. I mean, games are a luxury. You don't need games in your life. But when you do, and you're going to put money toward them, you would like a little effort also made inside to make it even look nicer and to help you organize it. And people notice it when you break it out, like, wow, that's really nice. I'd like to get one of those.
We've come a long way, too. I mean, when we were kids, games were the box.
Right.
Yeah.
And loose pieces for the most part.
Sometimes they still are.
Unfortunately, that is the case
I have
with
boxes
some.
that all I have, you open the box and it's just a bunch of plastic bags.
Yeah, well, and that's another thing. We mentioned DIY earlier. I mean, at the very minimum, we all bag our stuff, right? Like the games that come with a bunch of pieces, I just went to Hobby Lobby the other day and bought 150 bags to put some components
I have
in.
stacks and stacks.
And that works fine too, because I was thinking about this, and the experience of bagging the game's components, it makes you remember how it was stored.
Yeah.
Maybe even more so than some of these third-party inserts. There's been some of these third-party inserts. I take the game out, and then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Where did this one go, and how does this fit together? It's almost a game in itself.
Not only that, but when you organize a game back into the box, you're setting it up for your next play.
Exactly.
And one thing I wanted to bring up was Grand Austria Hotel, a game that my wife and I have been playing a lot. I use these little twister caps that you can buy in a hobby, and basically you twist them off, and then you put them on the bottom and twist them back on, so they'll never spill over. But when I put all those components in there, they're ready for the next game. And if I leave that game and don't come back for 6 months and forget how to play it, which is, happens to us all the time with playing so many games, I'm going to automatically know that this stays different from the other components in the game. So it's going to help me relearn that game almost immediately. In the case where all these games come in boxes and they're just bags, it's a different feel if you don't take that initiative, or if the company doesn't take initiative to supply bags or to at least do some kind of organization within the box itself.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. Even those twisty things that you've been getting compared to the Plano boxes that you've done, too. When I've done the Plano boxes, which is nice just to keep them so they're not loose.
Yeah.
But you can hardly ever use the components out of the Plano box in most cases, unless it's a bigger one. When you get those smaller Plano boxes, like I have for Castles of Burgundy, everything's packed in there so tight.
Yeah.
It's like even hard to get the
Right.
stuff out of there. You're like using your finger to
Right.
pull them out one at a time. And then, like you said, you have to remember, okay, which tiles, if you haven't played the game in a while, you have to remember things. When they're in separate bags, or better yet, those twisty things, you just put it all out and you're like, okay, I remember what it looked like on the table last time now.
That's one thing that's really cool about Wasteland Express is that not only are they put in there, every component is labeled in that box too. So if you forget what a component is, it's labeled right there, like already in the insert, which I would love to see more companies do that.
And also, we have to talk about the flip side of this too.
Yes.
When you have a company like Game Trays, when a publisher goes out and they want to make a game, they'll approach Game Trays and they'll say, these are the components that are going in this box. And you open that box and it's an experience like Grim Forest. But there's also on the flip side, when expansions will be inevitably released, you then have another problem about how are those new components going to fit inside of this box now.
Yeah, there's a couple good examples of that. Everyone knows I love Seasons. And as much as I love that game, and there's 2 expansions for it, you get those and the insert. When I bought Seasons originally, I was so enamored with the insert because it was perfect. Everything just fit in there. One expansion later, and then you're filling that one sort of bin area in the insert with all sorts of stuff.
Right.
Like loose cards, loose bits, all sorts of different things. And then you add another expansion, it gets even worse. And then the amount of cards, too. There's nice card areas, but there's just enough cards to where it makes the box sit not completely shut. And it's still okay, but it really kind of washes away the entire aspect that insert was good.
I'll give you another example, Five Tribes.
Yes.
It's a game that I absolutely love. I own all the expansions, but now there's no place to put anything in there. So I actually opened this one up the other day because I was going to play it with Sarah. And I looked at it, I was like, I don't even know where to begin now. Like, I've got 3 different rule books in here. I don't know what components are mixed with what. And there's just stuff everywhere because originally it fit perfectly. Now it's all mixed.
I've got another gripe about Five Tribes now that you mentioned. And again, I feel comfortable griping because I love the game.
Yeah.
But that insert, Ryan and I were just talking about this. There's these 2 rows on the outside edge.
Oh, for the coins?
I don't know. Like what I've always put in those 2 rows is I've put the palaces in one of them, and they fit perfectly.
Right.
And then you put the palm trees in the other, and they work, but 2 palm trees don't fit.
Yeah,
So I thought, well, and this brings up 2 things. One, that was sort of like just mildly annoying.
Right.
But the other thing is, when games do have an insert that's a really good one and it's designed and engineered, put a page in your manual that says, here's how to put the stuff away in the insert.
Sure.
I would like that.
Some do.
You're
very
right.
rare.
Yeah.
Very rare. But it is nice because you look at this insert like, one, I don't know how to put this together, which we'll probably talk about.
Right.
And then where do these pieces go? And I think, and you're talking about more like components and like, maybe chits and stuff. One of my big complaints is on inserts, when they give you an insert, awesome, great. Okay, my best example is Ethnos. Okay, I sleeve cards.
Yeah.
I know some people out there don't sleeve cards. That's dumb. Hey, I do deal with it.
Yeah.
All right. I sleeve my cards, especially on Ethnos, because you're going to be dealing with with a lot, and the cards fit fine in Ethnos without the sleeves. You put the sleeves on them, it doesn't fit anymore.
That's so many.
And it bounces up, and it's all this. Like Renegade's Clank did it awesome. They made that space. If you sleeve the cards, it'll still fit.
Big enough so they can ship in there.
It
but
can't be
also
that
enough
much
for sleeves.
harder.
I've thrown away so many inserts because once the cards are sleeved, they don't fit. Legendary, which I love Legendary, Marvel Legendary. And this is the rare example where they were actually forward-thinking and that they left spots for the expansions. So you have plenty of room to store all the expansions if you don't sleeve them. But as soon as you sleeve them, it doesn't fit anymore.
Yeah.
Like, hey, it's just they don't think that people are going to sleeve them or they don't plan for that sleeving process. But heck, I mean, sell your own sleeves, build it for that,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blood Rage, or not Blood Rage, Bloodborne is another one.
It doesn't fit with
It doesn't
sleeves on.
fit, so I tossed the insert.
Yeah,
I wanted the card sleeve because I'm using them
so many
all the
inserts.
time.
I've got an insert that I'm sure we all may toss, and we love you, FFG. But those inserts, I think, are universally despised.
I think I've thrown away every one of those
ones.
inserts I've gotten.
They're
because
awful.
Once you punch everything, there's those inserts
Would you even call it an insert? It's just taking up space.
I think the mentality with FFG is that they know they're going to have 20 expansions for their games, and nothing's going to fit anyway. In the
right.
end. So you might
Here,
as
we'll
well
just make
pack
some
it in
space
something.
And they want it so that it doesn't all loosely
right.
shake
I
around
think that's
to begin
their
with.
main
Well, yeah, a game
thing
like
on
Mansions
that.
of Madness, the first thing I did was throw away the insert, buy a Plano box.
Yeah.
Put it on there.
That takes up half the space in there anyway.
Yeah.
So.
And the boxes, those work well.
So last thing on inserts, at least the last thing I have, and this is an example. And again, we love this game too. We all love Barron Park. I think we all own Barron Park. But
this wins the prize.
this is the insert, which is a little, and I think everyone out there
knows about this.
Knows
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
this. Does anyone still yet know
No.
exactly how this is supposed to be
It,
used?
it fits in there diagonally. Yeah, one of them goes in one corner
Right.
to the other corner. The other one's
It
kind of a
basically
brace
makes
for
little
it.
three little
But
triangle
doesn't it make
sections.
some of the boards not
Some of
really
the boards,
fit
they
in
have
the
to
doesn't
go
make any of it
underneath
work.
it.
Yeah.
It's very,
awful.
very
It's
strange.
like
I'd
we have
love
extra
to talk to
cardboard.
the designer of this one just
Yeah.
a little bit.
So for publishers, I mean, this isn't we're not calling you guys out.
No.
We're simply saying that for at least us, and we could be different than other gamers, but for enthusiast gamers, having that accessibility and efficiency when you're pulling out a game means something to a lot of people. So take a little bit of time to look at the engineering and structure of your box and how you package that game. Because if you have future expansions in mind, think about that.
Yeah.
Really think about that and think about things being sleeved and how people that are true gamers,
Yep.
how they will treat that material.
Yeah,
And
if
how
you-
often they'll get that game back to the table.
And if you want to see what I think, at least, is sort of the gold standard right now, take a look at Grimm's Forest for sure. That thing is just insane.
beautiful.
It's
Yeah.
perfect. Now, I'll say right now, and I'd say this to James, with the expansions, I'm not sure how that's going to work either.
Sure.
But right now, it is an incredible experience in terms of getting that out of the box and onto the table and playing almost
it.
immediately.
Yep.
I think I would actually rather not have an insert at all than one that was junky or that doesn't fit everything once it's all punched.
True. Oh yeah, that's the other end of the spectrum for sure. We've all had inserts, sometimes not even made out of like really chintzy plastic or something like that. That it's kind of like crumbled or like
crumbles.
can crush.
Yeah.
You know, you just get rid of those. So if you're gonna do an insert, I guess what Ryan's saying, do a good insert.
Yeah.
Or don't do one at
Otherwise,
all.
don't do one at all.
And if you don't, work with third-party people like Broken Token. I mean,
Yeah.
going to those companies and saying, we have a cool game, here are our components, make
Yep.
something cool for us. Because there are
Absolutely.
people that'll buy it.
Oh,
yes.
absolutely.
Maybe.
So, so that's inserts. Let's talk about the weekend games that we've been playing.
Yeah.
I've been playing a ton of games.
Me
Yeah,
too.
me too.
What have you been playing, Ryan?
So I want to say that I'm finally caught up with you guys.
You're not still playing Azul?
I am still playing Azul every once in a while, but I finally got on your page. I finally played Santa Maria,
Oh.
and it is fantastic. I wish I had played it before we did our top 10 show.
You can
probably
change yours
would've-
too.
It would have ended up on my top 10. I think that game is just, it's so
I
good.
told you.
It's so good. I've been wanting
it's
to
a good
play it
game.
basically since it
Yeah.
came out, and
Yeah.
it blew me
There's
away.
a lot of controversy on that game for the colonization
Yeah.
background to it, and we understand that.
Yeah.
But as far as a game is related, it's a super solid game.
Oh yeah, it's just a joy to play for sure.
What
So
else?
you
Is
want
that
one?
all?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I've been playing Azul still. I've been playing Pulsar still. I mean, I get on these games with my group, and every time they come over, they're like, "Oh, we want to play Pulsar
Yeah.
again," or "We want to play Azul again." Just everybody loves these games.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. What
What
Gary?
about you?
Basically, I haven't played a whole ton, but I did get to go over some friends the other night. They're not really gamers, but they had some parents in, and they go, bring something over. So I took over Azul. That was a winner. They wanted to buy it. You're going to have to wait. It's it's out
Yeah.
of print. And then we did Downforce, which they loved. That's just so easy. It's such
Yeah, you
a
played
fun
a ton
game.
of Downforce recently,
I've played a
right?
lot of
Yeah.
Downforce lately, yeah. But I'm looking forward to tomorrow night because I'm going. My one group I played my first Pandemic Season 1 with. I haven't played with them in a while, but I'm going to go over there tomorrow night. They do want to learn Santa Maria, and I'm hoping to teach them Bruges.
Really?
Yeah, 'cause they want to learn that as well. And
Will this be the first time you break out the animals in Bruges?
Because I haven't even played with animals yet, so
It's easy. You
Is it
should put
easy?
them in there for
yeah,
sure.
So so I'm pumped about playing that. So and probably Azul.
My goodness.
This show's not brought to you
No,
by
it's
Azul
not. It's
by
not,
any
yeah.
means.
It's hilarious.
So I've been playing a lot of games, so everyone settle in. Well, first of all, Jeremy and I had a chance to play Kami-sama with Travis and
AJ, the designer.
from Colossal. This is AJ's
First game.
First game, and we
It's
had
impressive.
a blast with it. It was a really fun game. Area control, some pretty inventive mechanics where the board rotates. But we played that just
couple days ago.
Earlier
Yeah.
this week. Very good. Prototype form, but still really good. Got Clans of Caledonia back to the table last weekend.
Yeah, how's that?
Last week. Oh, I really like that
Yeah.
game. For that type of game, which is not usually the weight that I play,
Right.
I'm really getting into that one for sure. Which brings me to my next one. I finally tried Terra Mystica.
Online.
Online. But I tried it. I learned it.
yeah.
Marty Connell from
Rolling Dice.
Rolling Dice and Taking Names was nice enough to teach me online. A 2-player game, so
Yeah.
it wasn't exactly the perfect experience for Terra Mystica.
Yeah.
Because the map doesn't change, so you're not very spread out, and 2 players don't really interact with each other too much.
Sure.
But I know how to play, so that's the good news.
Did you win?
I didn't win, but he's played before,
Yeah.
and he only beat me by a handful of points.
Okay.
So I felt pretty good about
There
that.
you go.
Good.
But
Got to represent.
Yeah, we played that on Steam, and the app it works really nice. Cool
Yeah.
thing about that app, by the way, too, is if you have it on iOS, you can actually play cross-platform Steam versus iOS.
cool. Really?
Yeah, which I didn't even know a lot of games
didn't
or
know
any
that.
games did
Yeah.
that.
Yeah,
but
I have the
you can do
iOS
that.
version.
Yeah, so we'll have to try that sometime. Other than that, Raiders of the North Sea. I got to tell you, Jeremy was singing the praises of this game the last couple weeks, and I tried it with him, and I tried it with my group. I'm going to play it again this weekend. Really, really good game. This is one of those games where it kind of starts out, some could say that it starts out a little slow, because there's a whole top part of the board that you really can't access until you really get things going, so you have to kind of prepare your Vikings at first, and then boom, you start to go out on raids, and then the cool other hand of that is the game accelerates and you start scoring points and it starts going really fast and all the board starts clearing out. Really good game and beautiful artwork.
Yep.
So that's what I've been playing.
We played a lot of Gentes, which is we just
right.
did a review on that one, so check that one online. It's a good game. It's actually being
It's on Kickstarter.
deluxified from TMG as well.
Looks
Yeah,
awesome.
the deluxe version is sick.
I've been playing a lot of Grand Austria Hotel again.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
that
played,
game is so
I played
good.
half a
You're
game
welcome.
yesterday.
This is a weird. I mean, I have a really bad habit of calling my games, and I don't know why I called that game. I do know I had a really bad 4-player experience with it. It was just like 2.5, 3-hour game, too long. And then you reintroduced it to me
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, and the 2-player experience in that game is it's really one of the best 2-player games. Period. It's so solid, and so we've been playing the heck out of that game.
Well, what was your score too?
232 points.
Yeah, he started a game with me, and it was going out of control, and we had to actually, and we played Kami-sama because Travis showed up with that, so we had to pause, and then his wife finished the game.
Yeah.
But you ended up scoring 232
32 points.
which is ridiculous in that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah,
What's your high score in that?
217.
What's your low?
And that 40. 5 in Visa for Odin.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
I'm content.
Played Ginkopolis again, which is such a solid old
Whoa.
Z-Man game. It's
Yeah.
a Javier George's
That's what I wanna
game.
learn.
He also did Carson City and Troyes. Really good.
Is that out of print?
it's been out of print for
Oh,
so
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's hard to find.
Yeah. Dinosaur Island, we've played that twice now. It's actually a really good game. Our first experience with the game was a prototype. Anytime you play a prototype, it's really hard to get an idea of what the game looks like.
Plus,
Well, we had some we had
The rules
issues.
weren't done. A lot of the tiles had written words you could barely read.
Yep.
But we've played it multiple times. It's solid. And if you play the game and you're a gamer, play the long game because the medium game is way too short, even for gamers. But the long game is a good hour and a half. So you really feel like you're building up your park. Fantastic. Also, I'm looking at our table, our wall here. I traded for Merchants and Marauders because of you and bought the expansion because I really want to play this game.
Right, yeah, me too.
It's been a while since we've played it. We just got Rising Sun, so we're going to play it tonight. And then we also played Dark Souls, the card game.
Yeah.
Which
Really cool. Really unique.
it's really cool.
This is from Steam Forged.
Yeah, it's a really cool, just basic card game. But again, just like the original Dark Souls, it really kind of captures the theme of Dark Souls.
I'd say it captures that theme even more so, in my opinion.
I would
It
agree.
really puts in your face that whole concept of like pushing your luck.
Yep.
Do we go on to the next encounter, risk losing our souls and our equipment, or do we go back and use the bonfire? But when you use the bonfire, it's the time that's ticking
and
away.
it's a deck building game, but it's one of the most unique deck building games I've ever seen because it's not like a traditional deck builder. And you're like building like a constructed, almost like a Magic deck, where you're counting how much energy you're generating, how many weapons.
Well,
and
there's
attacks
finite
you
cards
have.
too. You can only have like 28 cards to begin with, and then after the first bonfire, that goes to 31 or something.
And what's
like that.
really cool about the deck building is you have off to the side just stamina, which powers all of your equipment in the game. That's what you're buying.
It's like adding lands to your deck.
But the way you build your deck is from going out into the outer world and killing mobs, killing monsters. All those go to a community pool, and then as a group, you decide, hey, you just have this card, or you can have this card because it's good for your deck. So there's a real sense of cooperation and community in that game. It's really cool.
It was a much more streamlined experience, I thought, than
the board game,
the bigger brother game. Yeah,
I liked it a lot, and we'll get a review out of that one
soon
as well. So that's what I've been playing.
So that's what we've been playing, and that is going to wrap it up for this episode of Chit Chat. Thanks again for watching. Definitely check us out on Twitter, follow us on Facebook, all of that, and blank some comments in the comments, I guess, or anywhere you can, because some of the topics that we talked about tonight were directly from some people on Twitter.
And let us know what you guys think about inserts as well. It's an important topic. I think a lot of publishers listen in on this type of thing and figure out how do we tailor games.
And what I want to know is what is the best broken token, or what is the best insert out there? Because I might not even know that there's a cool insert for.
There's a lot of companies out there that tailor to.
Yeah, it might even get you to try a game, too.
Yeah.
In fact, it could be that good.
Yeah.
All right, thanks a lot for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.